But today I thought I would do a video to let you know how I walked the full 500-mile Camino de Santiago Frances and did not get a single blister. So if you're worried about blisters, stay tuned. So I'm also going to do videos that people don't do because it's kind of subjective and everybody's different. But I am going to do a video on what were my favorite cities to visit and which landmark things that you definitely want to make sure you see when you're on the Camino or experience. And I'm also going to do not the traditional kind of packing video, but things that I took that really saved my Camino. Oh, I'm also going to do a video because this is so important on things you need to practice before doing the Camino. So if you're interested in those things, please like and subscribe and ring the notification bell so you can know exactly when I post those videos. So let's talk about how I managed to walk 500 miles and not get any blisters. Well, let me tell you, blisters were a common thing starting from day one. People were getting blisters. And well, maybe not day one, maybe day two for sure. I mean, you always saw people pulled on the side of the road. They had whole little blister kits that, like the husband would carry and help while the wife was like patching up her foot. So I was really worried about getting blisters, but I didn't get a single one. And this is why I think I did not. Let me tell you what I did not do. I did not do the whole rub your feet in Vaseline every morning like people say. I did not take the hiker's wool that people also recommend. So I didn't do any of those things. But what I did do, so I probably bought like 5 or 6 different pairs of shoes, and I would walk around in my house to just make sure that they were gonna be okay. And if they felt okay, then I would take them out on test ride, as far as a hike goes. I did that with my socks as well, because socks make a big difference. Like when I was at REI buying some of my gear, the guy said that he liked these particular wool socks. So I bought some of those to try them out. I hated them. So I didn't go with wool, but you have to find out what works for you, which is why you have to buy different types of socks. I ended up going with a pair of socks that I knew had worked tried and true for me years ago when I did a marathon. That was like 20 years ago, and these are the only socks I've worn ever since. So they're called Wright socks, WRIGHT. They're kind of hard to find these days because they used to be offered at Fleet Feet, and now Fleet Feet doesn't carry them anymore, but REI certainly does. You just want to make sure it comes far enough out of your shoe where it does not slide down in your shoe. But I also didn't want a sock like halfway up my leg, getting a tan line. Because for me, it was better to walk in shorts every day. So even on the chilly mornings, I knew it was going to warm up. So I got hot when I tried to wear long pants. So I preferred walking in shorts every day. But these are the socks. They're just a double layer because they're truly a double layer. Like, so instead of the sock rubbing up against your foot, the 2 layers rub up against each other. So it's not just any Wright sock, it's the Wright socks that has the double layer. I think the shoes and the socks are the most important part of your gear, because if your feet aren't right, nothing is going to be right. So I strongly encourage you to spend a lot of time figuring out what shoes work best for you and what socks work best for you. And just because those worked for me, they may not work for you. The shoes I got were, I'll put a picture here. Now, this is what my shoes look like after 2 weeks. I was washing them at night, like I would clean them off, but I didn't think they were going to make it, but they made it till the end. Now, these are Salomons, and they served me well. One thing I liked about it, which I also think helped me not get blisters, was because they didn't have a lace like that you tied. they have this little bungee cord thing where you pull it up and it keeps your foot pretty secure. It may move a little bit, but not much. And I certainly never had to stop and lace my shoe. So that was a beautiful thing. So it helped to keep my foot in place, and it also had a really sturdy bottom. So this is my shoe. You can see that it is well worn, but they still look good, being that they walked 500 miles. But see how sturdy this bottom is? Now, the reason I think this is important, like a lot of people are starting to wear just trail runners now, but the bottom of this saved my feet when you walk on those rocks. And there are lots of days when you're going to walk for hours and hours on rocks, and those puppies hurt. So I like that I had this sturdy bottom for the grip, because, you know, sometimes things are kind of slippery. But this is the little bungee cord thing that, you know, once you pull it in place, and then I would just tuck this under my lace to keep it in place. But these shoes saved me. They are Gore-Tex, so on the days we had thunderstorms, they were great. But on the days where it was hot, my feet were hot. But I also took a pair of hiking sandals, because on the days where my feet got really hot, or sometimes my feet just got tired of those shoes, because, you know, you're walking day after day, hour after hour. And so sometimes my feet would get tired of those shoes, and sometimes I would just replace the insert. So that was another thing that I did. I took an extra pair of inserts. Well, for starters, I put a new pair of inserts in the shoes before I left, because I wanted more cushion than what came with the shoe. So I put an insert in the shoe, but I took an extra insert that was not the exact same brand or style. Like, I wanted the bottom of my foot to have a new experience. So I got a different type of insert so I could trick my foot to make it think it was in a different shoe. But sometimes my feet just got tired of being in that shoe. And so, especially towards the end, I found that my feet were just like almost rejecting the shoe. But I had prepared for that also, because I took a pair of hiking sandals. So I took the Tevas. So these are the Tevas that I took with me. And I used these to have a backup when I was hiking. And I would walk sometimes like 12 to 15 kilometers a day in these, and they were great. Initially, I thought all these straps were going to be a problem. But again, I tried them out at home before, and I bought even more sandals than I did shoes to try out, because sandals can be really tricky with the straps in rubbing your feet. And I have to say that I have very soft feet, so I am really prone to get blisters, which is why I had found out about those right socks years ago when I did that marathon. But these, they worked great, and I highly recommend them. You know, they have a sturdy bottom also, so when you're walking, you know, you have some grip support. The only downside of walking in sandals is that you do tend to get the little rocks sneak up in the back of your shoe, and that can be kind of annoying. So you have to stop and like get the little rocks out. But I only wore these with socks when I hiked in them. But then in the evenings, I would use this as my evening shoe and as my shower shoe as well. So whatever you're doing on the Camino, just make sure it has multi-purposes. Now, was this an ideal shoe, like if you had to get up and go to the bathroom in the middle of the night? No, but it worked. So it was better than carrying a third pair of shoes. So this was a sandal that I used that I think also contributed to me not getting blisters during the walk. A couple of things to keep in mind when you are walking the Camino. As soon as you feel a hot spot coming on your foot, which you will if you're about to get a blister, stop immediately. Don't think, oh, I'm almost there, I'll keep walking. Oh, I'll just work through it, it'll be okay. No. Big mistake. Stop as soon, I do mean as soon as you feel a particular part of your foot or your toe getting hot, because that did happen to me a couple of times. But I was ready and I stopped and I found the nearest place to sit, even if it was on the ground, to try and readjust. One time I just needed to readjust my sock. Like my sock, I don't know if I put it on wrong that morning, but every little thing plays a major role in your hiking that day. So I think that particular day, like maybe I had a fold in my sock near the toe that my foot didn't like. So it started getting a hot spot. So I had to pull over and just readjust my sock and I could keep walking. Another time I started getting a hot spot it was the weirdest part of my toe. Like it was my second toe and it was this part of my toe, like the very front, that was rubbing. And so again, when I felt that hot spot, I stopped and I put a Band-Aid on it. And the Band-Aid got me through the day, but it wasn't an ideal situation. So what I wish I had taken with me that I did not take, but I was able to buy at a pharmacy, but everything at the pharmacies there, they have stuff, but their stuff is really expensive for some reason. You can see the boxes all smushed because they were in my bag. But these are called finger strips there. I don't know if they're called the same thing here, but I had purchased these before when I had gotten a cut on my finger once. And the reason these work so well is because they have all this extra bandage area here. So once you put these on, you can like I could walk in it for like a week. I would end up just changing it just for the heck of it. But they really stay secure. So I would put this part on over the front of my toe where it was getting that blister, and then I would just wrap this part around my toe. But it works like a dream. So make sure you take some of these if you don't take anything else, because I didn't use any of the gauze, any of the tape, which maybe could have worked, but I think it would have been a little bulky. And so based on where I got the hot spot, I knew that I needed this Band-Aid. I just didn't think about taking them with me. So I was glad to see that they actually had them available. But they're less expensive here, so get them before you go. Like everything there in the pharmacy is really expensive, like vitamin C, everything. It's just expensive. And I don't know if they just do that because we're tourists, but yeah, it's really expensive. The other thing that's really important is to go get fitted for a shoe if you can. Like recently, I bought a new pair of Hokas and they didn't fit the same as my old pair of Hokas because it was a different style of Hoka. And these were just for walking, you know, around town and walking my dog. But the girl said that I asked her if they were zero gravity, and she said no, but they are negative gravity. I think that's what she said. And that the reason my other ones worked better for me is because they were neutral. So make sure you figure out what works best for you, because just because zero gravity works for someone else, it might not work for you. I know a lot of people are talking about, oh, they got the zero gravity shoes, but that may not work for you. So the other thing I think that was really helpful was, as I mentioned, is to stop the minute. And I do mean the minute you feel like your foot is starting to talk to you to say, hey, I'm not happy right now. Do something about it and do something immediately, because it's only going to get worse. If you don't address it, it's just going to get worse. And then it really is going to be a problem. And then you'll have to like take 3 days off. Like a friend of mine, she got a blister literally the size of a golf ball on the bottom of her foot. You can see it in the picture I'll post here. But she didn't even tell me she had a blister. I just ended up asking her, like, something's going on with you, because she was walking differently. And that's when she showed me her blister. And I was shocked. Like, I was telling her, how could you not address that? And she said she didn't want to be weak, but that is not weakness. That is a sign of strength. When you know you have a problem, to stop and address it, that's definitely a sign of strength. So definitely just stop what you're doing, address it, and you'll be so happy you did. The last thing I think I did that prevented me from getting a blister was I walked at my own pace. So, you know, if someone's walking with you and you're trying to keep up with them, that may work for a little while, but it's not going to work in the long run. So, not without you getting injured or getting a blister or something. So, that's how a lot of people get injured because they're trying to keep up with someone else. But do your own walk, whatever that means for you. And I walked like I was walking my dog. Um, so I wasn't trying to hurry. I always had a place to stay. Now I get it that if you don't have a place to stay and you're trying to get to town before, then leave earlier if that's what it takes. But walk at your own pace, because once you get injured, you have to stop for 3 days. That's what the doctors are going to tell you, which is what they told my friend and some other people. So you have to rest that. So if you don't want to get in that predicament, just address it as soon as you can. I didn't get any bed bugs. I didn't get any blisters, but I got my fair share of mosquito bites. So there's always something, right? Anyway, I hope this video is helpful to you if you're going on your Camino. And if you are going on a Camino, leave in the comment section to let me know what time of year you're going. Because, you know, time of year will determine lots of things. Like, if you want to take shorts or if you want to take long pants, if you want to take thick socks or if you want to take thin socks. I would have walked in those socks regardless of what time of year it was. It's just something to think about. Like I said, I went August 27th through October 5th. So I walked in shorts and I walked in those socks and those shoes and my sandals. But anyway, if you do walk a Camino, leave in the comment section of where you're going. And if you're interested in knowing about what were my favorite cities that I visited, or what stages have those landmarks that you want to see, like the Cruz de Ferro or the wine fountain, I'm going to do a video on that as well. I'm going to tell you things that I packed that I think really saved my trip. I'm not going to do the traditional kind of video on what to pack, like 2 pairs of shoes and all that. But there are definitely some things that I think saved me during the Camino. So I could not do a Camino without them. So those are the things I'm going to do in my video. So if that's something you think you might be interested in, please hit the notification bell so you'll get notification when I actually post those videos. Those are all the tips I had on why I think I did not get a single blister. Thank God I did not. I was so thrilled that I did not, because that would have been miserable. So, Buen Camino.